Okay, so you guys learned slope-intercept form, which is fantastic when you have the slope and you have the y-intercept. But sometimes we have to write it in a different format because we're going to use point-slope form. So slope-intercept form, we're going to skip this part right here. Oh, this is the, no, hold on. I'm on the wrong page. Sorry. There we go. How about we start on the one that you guys actually have? Did I give you one? I did not. I apologize. Okay, let's start on this one. This is one we actually have today. Okay, we can use point slope when we have a point and the slope. A point and the slope. Okay, so point slope form, everybody looks at it and they're like, oh, this is going to be so hard. But it's not, I promise you. Okay, y minus y1. You have to replace y1 equals m. You have to replace m. And then parenthesis x minus x1. So there's really only 3 numbers that we're going to replace. What does m stand for? Slope. Slope, very good. We're going to put our slope in for m. Excuse me. And x1, y1 is a point. It's the ordered pair. The 3, 4, the 7, -2. Okay? I want to use this space right here. Let's say the slope is -1/3, and I'm going to give you the point 2, -5. We're going to put this into point slope form. We're going to write this in point slope form. Okay? We write y minus y1 equals m parenthesis x minus x1. Now, that y1 and x1 seems scary, but it's just from our point, okay? So you're always going to keep the y and the minus sign. We need to plug in our y coordinate. In our point, which of those numbers is our y?
2, 1.
It's -5. Remember, your ordered pair is always x, y. So in our equation, we always have y minus, but we have a -5. One second, you're already one step ahead of me. Equals, what's your slope? Bless you. -1/3, parenthesis, x minus, what's our x coordinate? +2, so we put a 2 in there. Now, Tone, say what you just said to me. Okay, y minus a -5 right here. We cannot have subtracting a negative, so that changes. So our final answer for this is y plus 5 equals -1/3 x minus 2. All you have to do is plug in your point and your slope. You're always going to have parentheses in point slope. Now, I want to point something out to you. In our point, our 2 looks positive. But in the equation, what does it look like?
Negative.
It looks negative. And on our point, our 5 is negative. But in our equation, what's it look like? Positive. So they're always opposites of each other. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay, so if you see it in the point as a positive, when it goes in your equation, it's going to end up being negative. So some of your problems today are going to give you the equation, and all they want you to do is pull out the slope and to pull out the point. The slope is so easy. Y minus 2 equals 5/4 times x plus 3. What's your slope?
2. -2.
Stop and look. What's your slope? Look at your equation. M is your slope. Courtney, what's your slope? Bingo. Your number in front of the parenthesis is going to be your slope. 5/4. 5/4. Okay. Now, your point is going to be x, y. This is where we have to be really cautious. So in our x, what number does that look like? +3. So in our point, it's going to be -3. Our y in our equation looks negative. In our point, it is positive. Okay? They are opposite. I want you to try B. I'm going to help you out. This negative sign should really be a -1. I want you guys to pull your slope and your point out of equation B. Pull your slope and your point, just like what we did, right above there. Where do you find your slope? Very good. The number in front of your parentheses. So in this case, our slope is -1. Remember, your point is x comma y. So if we look with our x, what does it look like? +2, but really it's a -2. And our y looks like a +3, but actually it's a -3. Now make sure you have -2, then -3. A lot of times people mix this up, okay? Because they're like, oh, the first number I see, but that's actually your y. That's actually your y. Okay? Now, the next type of problems, they're going to ask us to graph. Okay? Ms. Hoff's going to change these directions a little bit. All we're going to do is graph a line that passes through -1, 2, and has a slope of 2. We're not even going to write the equation. Okay? When they give you a point and a slope, the first thing you do is plot the point. Just like you would plot the y-intercept, but this time it's not going to be on the y-axis. It's going to be a random point. So what point did they give us on this problem? Careful. What point did they give us? -1, 2. Remember, this is your x, this is your y. So plot -1, 2 on your graph. Plot -1, 2. It's a point on your graph. Your x is -1. Your y is 2. So if I start at 0, I have an x of -1. Which direction do I go? Left 1. Then I go up how far? 2. So your point should be right here. X is -1, y is 2. Second step, use the slope. Use the slope. The slope is -2. I should always write that as a fraction. So what number can I put on the bottom? Very good, over 1. And slope is what over what? Nope. What are the two words? What over what? Very good, rise over run. If I have a -2 rise, what does that tell me? I'm going up or down. How do I know? He's right. Rise means up or down, but which direction do I go? Very good. You go down because it's a negative. And you're always going to the right. You're always going to the right. Okay, so you have this point plotted, right? Put your pencil on that point. Now what do you got to do? Down 2 and right 1. Put a dot. Should be right at 0, 0, aren't you? Let's do it one more time. Go down 2, right 1. Then technically you could draw your line. We just did it one more time. You don't have to. On Alex, you only have to have 2. Yep. So don't let this throw you off. Plot the point. Okay, plot the point, then use your slope. Let's do that, practice that again. Okay, same thing. Ms. Hoff's going to change the rules. We're going to graph a line that passes through 2, 4 and has a slope of -3/2. What's the first thing I do? Very good. Plot 2, 4. 2 is your x, 4 is your y. So plot 2, 4. Plot 2, 4. I want to see where everybody puts that on their graph. Your x is 2, your y is 4. X is 2, y is 4. Yes, good job. Careful. X is 2, y is 4. Okay, so if I start in the middle, how do I get to 2, 4? Right, which way over, Tone? Right 2 towards Hoosier and up 4. Okay. Then we got to use our slope. What's our slope? And put the negative at the top, right? Slope is, go ahead, Sarah. Slope is rise over run. So what does that tell me I'm going to do? Down how many? 3. And which direction? Right 2 times. So from your point here, down 3, right 2. Should be at 4, 1, yes?
Yeah.
Are we done now?
Yeah, looks good.
Are we done now?
That's not right. You don't even have half the work on here. And then you get frustrated while you're doing your homework. Get it written down. Okay, flip it over. Silently, nobody talking. Write for me the slope and the x comma y from that point, or from that equation. Don't talk. Nobody say it out loud. Find me the slope and find me the point. I'll even write this down. Y minus y1 equals m times x minus x1. Flip it over and look. We did this on the back. Flip it over and look on the back if you need to.
I have it now. Wow.
It's kind of a hint too, like if you're not knowing which one's X or Y, like it's with that X, right? In the parentheses, so that's a
And
good
it's with
clue
the,
that
it's
that's
with
your
the Y.
right. You know which one to I remember.
Addison, did you get the slope? What'd you put? Anybody else put 1/4 as a slope? Yeah. Sam, did you get the point?
Two on the X and -4 on the Y.
He says 2 and -4. 2 on the X and -4 on the Y. What are your thoughts? Nicely done. Very good. Yep. And just like Mr. Bree said, like, look, this 2 is with the X. Don't mix him up. Okay, it looks like a -2, but he's actually a positive. Okay, now I want you to graph this. You know the point to start with. Start at this point. Plot that point. 2 on your X, -4 on your Y. Put that point on your graph first. Two on your X, -4 on your Y. Remember, guys, your axes are labeled to X and Y, so you know which way to go. Do you have 2 on your X and -4 on your Y? Which one's your X? Are you pointing at 2?
Now, with your point, how do you just slope off that?
Okay, so you should end up with a point here, yes? Did everybody put their point there? That's where it should be. Now we need to use our slope. Slope is rise over run. So what do my directions tell me to do? What? Up. What's your slope tell you to do? Up 1 and right 4. Don't shout random things. Right 1, or sorry, up 1, right 4. So from this point, right here, see my mouse? Up 1, 1, 2, 3, 4. Then you draw your line to connect them. The lines are hard to see. It's going to be easier on Alex to count. Okay, one more and then I'm going to let you go. Okay, we're not really going to do this problem here. Okay, here's what I'm going to tell you. I'm going to give you a slope of -2/3, and I'm going to give you the point of -4/7. I want you to write me the equation. You fill in the slope and the point. Well, how do you get there? You got to use the slope. What's your slope tell you to do?
Go up.
Up how far? What's your slope tell you?
4 over 1 over 4.
So what do you got to do? Rise over run. What does that tell you? No. But you can't, we'll do it on the computer. Those are hard to count there. Yep, just skip that for now. Okay, I want everybody to fill in. You should be filling in, whoops, y1, m, and x1 and writing me an equation. If I tell you it's -2/3 and I tell you the point is -4/7, we did this at the top of your page on the other side. If you don't remember, it's the very first thing we did. Brody, you willing to give me your answer?
Sure.
What you got?
Y, minus 7 equals -2/3, and x minus 4.
Thoughts?
+4,
Why is it +4, Tone?
because there's -4, so it has to be positive.
Yeah, that's the only thing you got to be really careful of. In your y, it's a +7, so in your equation, it's going to be a negative. In your point, it's a -4, so this actually is going to be a positive. Otherwise, nicely done. Good work.
That's so hard.
Okay? That's everything you're doing today. Writing the equation, pulling the information from the equation, and graphing it. Okay? All you have to remember is the point is opposite of the equation. But here's the deal. If you get frustrated, you have to still try. You cannot quit. Monday is a review. Tuesday is a quiz. Then you have Thanksgiving break. Grab a piece of paper, grab your laptop, go to work.